All right, guys, so watch this for Wednesday, which is going to be June 15th. Quick glance at the SPY. We did have kind of a bottoming tail through the 50-day today, like the fourth day down in a row, something like that. Keep in mind, tomorrow is FOMC announcement, which would be, 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern. So I kind of expect it's really important for me to catch a gap play or an early play from the list I'm about to give you tomorrow, because then usually things die out big time after the first couple hours, and then you get chaos usually after the announcement. I don't know, the chaos hasn't been that bad lately, but still, I generally don't trade after FOMC for the rest of the day because it's a little bit unpredictable, right? Things swing around pretty bad. So here's the list I've got for trades tomorrow. Quick reminder, I give this reminder in most of my videos, and I'll do it again here. I'm a day trader. I'm looking for stuff that could give me a trade tomorrow, right? Make me some money tomorrow, and I'll be back to cash before the close. All right, so keep that in mind. These are not long-term ideas. And then I'll still only, maybe trade a couple of these depending on the, intraday setups that I get. So, all right, having said all that, MTCH, which is Match.com, had a big day. So generally, if you go back and look at all the candles, this might be, it's probably the biggest, let's look at the biggest green candle since it came public back here, it looks like in late November. It's pretty close to all-time highs, which would be 1617. Today it got to 1609. I generally don't like to call something because, usually you get this is where cup and handles come from, right? You get the cup and then you go sideways for a while and then the breakout. But it doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. Maybe we get a red to green tomorrow, and it gives us an intraday trade. So keep that one on your watch list, really, for the next week or two if it doesn't break out, tomorrow or the rest of the week. I would watch it next week too. BSPM had a huge move today. It was on our watch list. And so I was lucky enough, I actually was doing the lunchtime Q&A. I almost have to go to 2-minute candles to show this to you. I was doing the lunchtime Q&A, and all of a sudden I saw volume coming to. So it was kind of cool because I had the projector on and I was on the microphone. So everyone in the chat room, I don't screen share all day. I generally screen share when I go over trades or when I have a setup that I want to show that's forming, and also to go over pre-market ideas. So I had the screen up, and I was on the microphone, and this thing was up to about 412, 415, and it was already on our watch list. So I said, hey, this BSPM is getting volume. I like it right here. Worst case stop's going to be below where this volume started, so 385. I was able to get in. I don't even think it was 410 yet, to be honest with you, because when I saw it, I grabbed it, and I also said over the mic that I liked it. So, and I actually got filled at 403, so I kind of had to guess at the end of the day at what exact price it was when I put out the idea, but it's probably, I think I put on the website 415. It was probably closer to 405 or 410 because I bought it when I alerted it. And I got, I think, filled at 403. Anyway, then it flags for a little bit and then just really ripped. And this thing went all the way over 620. So it goes back on watch. One, because it's just made these huge moves lately. And then two, because, it just did this intraday move and then gave back probably about half of it. So you never know. Maybe we get a quiet setup and a red to green tomorrow can be enough to make your day. If you get 25 or 30 cents on a $4 or $5 stock, you can make some nice money. So anyway, it goes back on watch for tomorrow. EXAS. This one goes on watch. Big volume today. You can see the gap down back here, a lot of consolidation, and a big volume pop today. So maybe a red to green in that one tomorrow. It certainly has to go on watch. GBIM. Big volume spike, a quiet inside day, but it's almost round trip, so I don't like that one very much. But maybe sometimes you get this big spike inside day, and then the third day you get another rip. So it's worth having on watch. Doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart, right? GBR had this crazy move from 80 cents to almost 420, and now is back down to $1.84. Looks like it's finding buyers under that $1.80 area. So this goes on bounce watch. This is one that might get a big move if it sets up right on an intraday basis. Smith & Wesson, SWHC. Now, I'm not really in love with this chart. This chart's kind of ugly, but it did bounce nicely off the 200-day back here, then gapped up, and then right back down to the 200-day. The reason it's on watch is because I believe their earnings, and double check this, I think their earnings are Thursday. I could be wrong, but I think they're Thursday. I kind of am expecting sellers to get a little nervous going into earnings on a gun stock, right? On a gun maker. That's the only reason. That's really not as much chart based as it is, knowing that earnings are coming out, and I do like the support of the 200-day. I think that one's worth watching. EBIO gapped up yesterday, sold off, then today sold off again, but in a much more narrow range. I want to look for that one to possibly turn back up tomorrow. PAY, put in a narrow range green candle today. It was on Bounce Watch today. I didn't take a trade in it, but I do like it over today's high. So 1937 is an area that is kind of interesting. If it takes out today's high, it might pop. So we got that one on watch. JAGX, gapped up, sold off, next day, the next day, and then you still haven't broken a previous day's high since the gap up, but you got a pretty narrow range today. So I like this over today's high, over 190. So $1.91. The volume was down to 134,000 today, so it's kind of fallen off the radar since the gap up. But sometimes, if that starts lighting up the new highs ticker, people might pile in, so it's worth having on watch. This MGT has really kind of found some nice support, and all these days, red candles, kind of an indecision candle here, another red candle, then today up near the top of like the 5-day range, and we had a green candle today. So let's look at it on like 60s maybe. All right, so you can see nice support below, and over this 60-minute bear flag, or bull flag, with the high at 256. So over 256, this might get a pop. A lot of people watch this thing, and I mean, you see this is all of a sudden 364,000 shares out of nowhere, right? And the reason is because it had this move from whatever it was, 50 cents to over $5.50, right? Anytime you get a move like that, any little intraday move, sometimes they try to pile in and catch the next move. So this one is coming out of nice support. 257 is a number that I might look to get long, assuming everything else is with me. And then lastly, I have LBIX. Got a big pop today. Gave back about half of that pop, but maybe a red to green tomorrow, so it goes on watch. We'll also be watching for gappers in the morning, building a pre-market list of potential gap plays. You know what? I was going to put GBSN. Let me go over that real quick. GBSN gapped up today but sold off. Just put this, I don't know if this will be on the watch list, but I'll throw it in this video. If this does break today's high, and who knows, right? It could gap up or whatever. If this gets over 208, you had this high back here, was 207. So if this gets like to 209 or 210, and really this goes for any day next week too, but I like this as a potential long, so keep GBSN on your radar too, all right? Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.